Hey everyone, John Lorden here. Thank you so much for joining me here on a BrainScratch Searchlight update. I'm not going to have a regular new Searchlight episode today. I just want to get this update, and I have another important update that I want to get out. So I'm doing those two videos today. This Searchlight update, it's really a case that is now moving from being a Searchlight case to being a regular BrainScratch case because Angie Barlow is no longer missing. As of about June of this year, her body was found, but now the big question remains about what happened to her. Did someone do something to her? You might recall from the earlier videos, and if you don't, I'll have links down below, so feel free to pause this one and go watch those first. But there was a couple of interesting details that came out. Angie was an exotic dancer. Before she was missing, she had sent a text to a friend of hers that said, "Doing a private party at this address, just in case I go missing, LOL." Unfortunately, that is precisely what happened. In the previous coverage, I talked about that police had mentioned there was surveillance footage where they saw her car leaving an apartment complex and another vehicle was right behind it. There's some updates today that I want to cover with you, including that footage, so we can get our eyes on it for ourselves and see if someone out there might have some information that can help them close up this case. We also have what appears to be some very strong persons of interest to discuss here. So with all that being said, let's jump over to the screen, starting at wishtv.com for one of the latest updates. Police have released new surveillance pictures in the murder investigation of Angie Barlow. The pictures came from surveillance video at an apartment complex where Barlow was attending a private party, and these pictures were just released over the past couple days, within the past week. Pictures from the surveillance video show Angie's blue car pulling out with a black car following right behind it. Now, I found a different website to actually look at the pictures. So let's jump over to fox59.com and their update on this case from October 5th. Actually, we'll check the photos out first, and then we'll read more of the details here. But this is Angie's car, the blue car. I believe it's a G6 in front. And you'll see as we kind of go through the timestamp footage, we can see this is on October 27th, 2016, almost 3:30 a.m. We can see that there is a car that is coming right out behind her. And this shot in particular looks to me like they've got a pretty good shot of the license plate here. Outside of that, I believe that this is actually from an apartment complex where this person might live, the person that's in the car behind her. So did they track this person down? Did they ask them some questions? We're going to get to all those details. Let's continue here at Fox 59. New details showed Angie received a series of text messages for a few months from a mysterious phone number. The messages were from a woman asking Angie to perform a private dance for her and her boyfriend. The woman never identified herself, but told Angie a time and place to meet. After Angie went missing, her mom contacted the woman who sent the text messages. Apparently, Angie, once again, it seems like she was doing a relatively good job of trying to be safe in this type of occupation. She had taken a bunch of screenshots of this number that was contacting her and sent it to friends of hers. So on top of that, you also have the text message that I started this episode with, where she's telling them the exact address of where she's going for this party. It really seems like she was doing her best to stay safe here, but unfortunately, it seems like it wasn't quite enough. But so her mom was able to get the phone number of this person that was texting her. Her mom calls that woman, speaks to her, and asks where her daughter was. The woman responded saying Angie left the apartment around 3 a.m. and she didn't know where Angie was. I don't know if her mother actually spoke to her on the phone or if she texted her to get that information. It's a little fuzzy, so she might have not talked directly to her, but she did communicate with her through that phone number. The lead detective in the case, Joe Torres with IMPD, says the car's license plate showed who the car belongs to. The name came back to the same woman who sent Angie the text messages. This is starting to look like a pretty strong person of interest here. Investigators found both the woman and her boyfriend. Both were questioned and released. Detective Torres said he believes Angie would have never gone to the apartment if she knew who sent the texts. Torres said the couple and Angie had a history. Quote, "I believe, yes, she was tricked to come to this location." Also worth noting in this article, her mother discusses the condition of the car when it was found. Apparently, it was really beat up. The interior was tore up in it. She said that is not how Angie had it. So it seems like a lot of abuse was put into her vehicle on this drive for some reason as well. According to information that I've covered previously, they did find some blood somewhere in the back of the car. So there is a thought that perhaps Angie's body was put into her car, and it's not her driving it in that footage, which certainly seems to make sense. The way the vehicle is following behind her, it's not like it's someone that's trying to follow someone and be discreet about it. They're following like literally on the bumper of that car. So I believe the person that's driving Angie's car knows that that other car is behind her. What's going to crack this case? First of all, it seems like detectives know the people that they need to be focusing on. I assume at this point it's going to be something forensic that has to come through. They're going to have to find some trace of either that woman or her boyfriend somewhere in that vehicle. Is that part of the reason why the vehicle was all tore up? Were they doing something to try to get rid of some evidence of some kind? I'm really not sure. Outside of that, I wanted to do this video. I wanted to put this back out there. I'm just hoping that someone out there might have some information about this. Maybe you recognize that car that we saw in the footage. Maybe you recognize where the footage was shot from. Maybe you know a couple people who live in this area who have said some strange things, and maybe it's making you think twice about it now that you're hearing this update. I'm putting the contact information for the detectives in the description box below, because I'd really like to help in some way to help this case get closed, and closed properly with someone facing charges for doing this to this young woman. This is just, it's terrible. You don't, I know there's some conversation about what type of work she was doing, and it's a dangerous type of work. And I understand that. I totally understand that perspective, but that's still not enough to write Angie off or to not process this case fully. I feel like investigators are right on the cusp of cracking this sucker. So I'm just hoping maybe in some way this video can push it over the edge. And outside of that, I wanted to give all of you the latest update on this case, because like I said, it's kind of transitioning now from a Searchlight case to a regular full-blown BrainScratch case. We have an unsolved murder here, and I would really like to see it get cracked. Thank you so much for joining me on this BrainScratch Searchlight update. I appreciate each and every one of you out there. Hope you are staying safe and happy. Have a nice day, and I'll see you back here on another update today or later on the Lord and Arts channel.